Brother.
Imra, we've been talking for a bit, and we've touched on some pretty amazing and broad topics, and we've already circled around to what everyone as an individual needs to do in service for what's happening right now. But I want to take a bit of a step back into the broader scope of things. You as a conduit for many masters, and you as yourself, what are you seeing right now or feeling right now in the broader sense, given this moment in time with the election? Is what's going to ripple out going to have as much psychological sway and push on society as everyone's predicting it is? Or is it going to be just another level up of the balance where some people are going to take it and be more crazy, where other people are going to find new levels of freedom and love? Where do you see this as a timestamp in our construct at the moment, and what the trajectory of humanity is because of what's happening?
It's a big question, my brother, but let's just get straight into it. So the first part is thank you for those kind words, and it's really important to start framing this as we're not looking as individuals here. We're actually looking at it as a collective. We're looking at it through our own eyes, through what we've experienced in our life, in our world. But we are all also seeing that at that same time as individuals, referred to as individual points of consciousness, because all those points create the one, is that there is a split that's happening. And what I am seeing, if I just get right down to it is now a time of very deep celebration. If we are not seeing it as that in this moment, we're actually missing the point of why we come to this world, especially right now. Like, there are so many souls that have come to witness this moment. For me, even my children are here at that age to witness this moment. And it's about coming into honoring that gift of this life and the experience that we've led to in this moment. Like, what do we want to do with that? And so what's happening is society, as it's falling, which we're seeing in all the big structures of society, and the illusion that was played to us over these years, and what that means for us as a collective, is it was just seen that it was a way of separating and segregating us all to essentially divide and conquer. And in that game, there are those beings that are actually really hurt from that. They have let go of this idea that there's more. And there has been many years where I've contemplated this for, many days in meditation around why. And in the end, it actually doesn't matter. It's about being aware in this split that there are beings that are taking that path to separation. And I don't mean separation as the word says. This is a spiritual moment of separation. That we are either in awareness that we are God presence, or we're not. That is the simple truth of being here in this duality, that there is a light, that there is a dark, that there is a right, and then that there's a wrong. And then there's a male, and then there's a female. And all of these things that create that duality originated in one. So it is all a part of that same thing. And for me here, this question around what it means with the election happening and all of these things that are happening today, well, it is just simply a choice. We need to honor that you have a choice. The question is that choice that you're making in this moment really yours? That's the question. Because as people in society, we go to work because we pay our bills and so on and so forth. Now, there is always that process, because just as the masters say, you wake up in the morning, you have to sweep the floors, you have to fetch the water, because there are chores to being here in this world. We have to look after our body, we have to be there for our families, we have to be there as a functioning member of society. It's not about that, it's about who are we in that? What are we doing to celebrate that for ourselves, not just in a different environment, like I have my family life, I have my work life, but what is behind all that? Who are you? And that's really what's happening, is it's blooming throughout the earth and in the most unlikely of spaces, where people are waking up going, I want to be a healer now. Of course, because as a collective consciousness, we are now preparing ourselves for that. We have lawyers that want to do Reiki healing. You know, that type of change, that shift in thinking and feeling is transcendent. That is a part of that catalyst, that vehicle of this change that we're feeling. And for me, that change is the change of taking our carbon body into the crystalline form here on the planet, and being able to sit and accept what that would mean for me in my life, with all the experiences I've had, and what that would mean. And it is the most beautiful part of this is that transition as we go through this space, and we observe that, is by intuition, we all come back to the earth. And what does that mean? It means that all our brothers and sisters in apartments are starting to get pot plants and growing their own herbs. We've got people that are leaving the cities to go and grow food. And all of these transcendent experiencing is happening now. But it's pretty much unsaid. Yes, it's seen, but society doesn't view it as something. In fact, they're trying to take it away. And that's how the imbalance happens, because all of us gets to choose if we want to be a farmer, or if we want to be a lawyer, or if we want to be a politician, or if we want to be a mum, or if we want to be in a cave meditating. It is our choice. And what we're seeing is that resistance of knowing that our choices are being taken away, which is a part of this esoteric knowing that the serpent that is ever present, that provides this bridge into this other knowing, this deeper awareness within self, into the realm of the spiritual realm, is actually just eating itself. We're witnessing that. And not only are we witnessing that, we're wondering if we're going to survive. We're wondering, what does this mean for us? You know, am I going to be able to pay my mortgage? Will my children be able to afford a house? And all these things are actually what's slowing us down from this shift. And you get to choose if it slows you down or not. That's the point. And to be able to sit in that questioning of self, you have to let go of what you think you know you are. The whole premise of that actually brings about a deeper connection where you see that you can't get those answers here in the mind. It's too limited. That you need to sit, create a path of stillness so that you can hear the message from the heart, from here. So you can feel that connection. And that is done very simply. It's as easy as breathing in and breathing out. Is coming into celebration that we're here in this physical form. It's a beautiful gift that we've been given from our Creator, but we come into this world through the divine sacred feminine. That's how it's done. That's how it's always happened. That's how it will always happen. We're stretching those boundaries in areas of society, but in essence, the creation of life is the most important thing. That's what it is to be here. That's the celebration of the mother. She provides all of our food, all of our existence. Everything that is bought and traded in this world is from her. And simply for some of us, we pray most of us will be moving into a space where the middleman of the systems of control, being the financial system, will actually just wash away because everything we need is actually here with her. And that just starts to bring about a more balancing of not having to be in states of stress, being able to wonder, how am I going to survive this next bill? How am I going to get my children through private schooling? How am I going to get myself off the street? It is a way where in the esoteric realm, it is a washing away of that debris. It's where the cooling and healing waters actually are washing out those areas.
Detoxing a parasite almost is what some of these groups or systems, like a middleman, like the structure of fractional reserve banking and stuff. It's like these are mind parasites that we've allowed in, and then we're washing those away over, well, at this moment, I guess. Yeah.
And yes, that's absolutely a way to see it. But for me, it is just the way it is. It just is that. That some of us see it as a parasite. Some of us see it as it has to happen like that. Because how would we survive if we didn't have a financial system? It is in itself only creating the vehicle for us to have this conversation to the beings that are hearing it, that can actually listen and hear what we're saying here, which is just, in the end, it's really simple. Just come home to the self, get out of here, get into here, which is done through the connection of her on the planet, so that you can come into a state of stillness, so that you can come into a connection with him. Because actually it's through her that we receive him, and we're in balance. And that's the point. Some of us are in the hierarchical sense of we have so much material, but now we're seeing that those are the ones that are actually the most unhappy in our society. So then it begs the question, what's the point? Like, what is the point of that? And that's what it is that the hierarchical system, the pyramid scheme of society, needs to be balanced with the other version, which is masculine and feminine. And together, that is the foundation of our whole universe. It's the macabre that creates that vibration, and that's the vibration of unconditional love. So if we put ourselves in balance with that feminine and masculine aspect, we actually sit in the field of the universal energy, and that's when that sweet spot occurs. And a lot of us that are on the path of a healing space, regardless if you've just come to breath work, regardless if you're just going into Reiki healing or whatever that might mean, or you're a quantum physicist, or you're in the ashrams of India and the Himalayas, it doesn't matter. It's just really around what it is to celebrate the divine you. And all you have to do is nothing but be you. Find that you and be it. And that's the end. It's where we find that we stop looking outside of ourselves for the answers. We stop looking into the future because the hard work now is going to pay off in the future. Well, actually, you're here now. Why not just be here? What's happening here? You know, the younger generations are playing in playgrounds. You know, be a child. If you're here as a young man starting a family, then be with the family. That is a part of this healing, this repairing of that duality of the split. That is the acceptance of coming into that crystalline form. That is the letting go, the esoteric realm of the death into the rebirth, that we're shedding ourselves. We're going through this metamorphosis. We're little caterpillars that are making this transcendent approach into a different world so we can fly. It's all happening in the same space. So I feel like that is really a broad view of where I'm seeing it through myself at the moment. I'm feeling that more people that are in the field of wanting to be better are coming in, and the ones that are caught are moving away, and I feel myself in reverence of both. Because regardless of their experience, we are all connected in the same. And for me, that is about being the embodiment of unconditional love, which is acceptance. That you can be you and I can be me, but we are one.
With this understanding of oneness and the trajectory of humankind, where does technology fall into this? Is it a shedding of technology that we're moving towards, or is it a greater understanding of higher frequency technology that incorporates sacred and geometric aspects to help humanity, or is that just another diversion that, with the mind, that we need to shed?
Well, there are many different perspectives on this, and there are the perspectives that are influenced by their own experiences, and some will see that in different ways. For instance, the emergence of AI has brought about this interconnectedness of being able to bring in the knowledge of the universe through the physical self. To be essentially tapped in an inorganic way into what is the whole universe. And so for some of us, that is the most amazing thing that's happening. And it is a part of the system that we're seeing now that is creating that. In a certain section of society, you could say, that we are observing that as a direction that we don't want to go on. Because what it has brought about is us to physically see that our children don't go out and play anymore, that we have like really high levels of mental illness, that it is actually feeding into other areas of society which create separation, like the pharmaceuticals and all of those governmental systems of control to try and get healing. So it's done in a way to create illness so that the healing can be sold to the individual. Then there's also the part of us as not only physical self, but as star children here that have used the emergence of AI to create a deep freedom of self, to be able to put in these systems so that we don't have to plow the fields, that we can come into more acceptance of the connection of the human spirit, and to be able to create more time to make it more valuable for us here. Again, this is like transcendent speak here, because simply now in society, and I'm very fortunate to not be too much on social medias, etc., but I soon will be, is because that's the path for me, is that it is just a distraction. It is a functioning of how people think that they need to be in society. That, you know, what you are showing on a small device actually isn't you, because there's no filters of life. There's no hashtags in life. It's just what it is. But this is the path that we're all on, because it is one and the same. Without it, we wouldn't be so interconnected here on the planet as well. And that shows us it's not good or bad, it just is. And the emergence of this space is the catalyst for us to transcend this lower states of consciousness, being a robot in the factories to create, and have others come in to create, so that we can then accept our true self as spiritual beings here, so that we can create deeper connection with our communities, to sit in a space of family structure, and coming into the simple truth of our connections with the earth. That's our path. To be here, to be able to live that simplicity. And we've done it over eons of time, and we forget that there have been many civilizations before us that have come and gone. And what are they all showing us? They're showing us it's a cycle where we build ourselves to some point, and then for some reason it disappears. Why is that? Only someone with open heart and choice can see through that. So they're not influenced by what others are saying, but they can come to that place in their own way to come on it as a perception of choice. Does that answer that, my brother?
Yeah, perfectly.